my friends out there. It has been so long since I have spoken to you. I am afraid I do not have the Simplex today, unfortunately. As you can see behind me, Scotland does not have March that comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. Scotland, even though it's now April, March definitely goes out like a lion. This is our lambing snow. Once the lambs start having their babies, we have a snow and a blizzard and general weather like you see behind me. Isn't that lovely? So, there is no detecting in that, and unfortunately I haven't had a video for a little bit because I had an injury when somebody rammed the back of my car, which caused problems with my shoulder. This, however, is almost healed, and I am hoping to have a detecting video out very soon, so watch this space. In the meantime, what I thought we could do was answer some questions I get asked quite a lot, and I always type out the answer, but I thought it might make sense to have a few little short videos that explain the answer to these questions I get all the time. So stay tuned and we'll have question 1 coming up. So one of the questions I get asked all the time is the SP24 worth it? Oops, that was a slip there. Watch where I'm going, eh? So, one of the questions I get asked all the time is the SP24 worth it? And I would say absolutely. Now, first off, go and watch the video that I did on what order should you buy kit for metal detecting, because that will kind of tell you where you should be putting a coil in your order of things to purchase. There are other things more important that you should get sorted out first. But when you come to the point of, oh, hello, yeah, it's gotten a bit lively. Hope you can still hear me. When it comes to the point of getting a new coil, and you're faced with the question of, should I get a DTEC Ultimate 13? Should I get an SP22? Should I get an SP24? Or should I just not? I would say get an SP24. That's your absolute first choice for a coil. It is brilliant. Everybody that I know who has ever bought one puts it on their machine and says it's never coming off again. Now, I'll add a caveat to that. The Ultimate DTEC 13 is very good. It covers a lot more ground than the SP24. It is more stable than the SP28, and it just works better. It's a big coil. There are places you don't want a big coil. There are places you want a small coil, and that's where your SP24 comes in. The separation on that thing is phenomenal. You will get in nooks and crannies. You will be able to differentiate between tiny little pieces right next to each other. Little cut quarters and things like that. So an SP24 should be your first coil. I don't recommend the SP22, but I will add, I don't have one. I have not used one. I just don't see the point in spending the money on something that is round and essentially the same as the SP28, just a little smaller. I would much rather get the one that's oval in shape so that I have more scope to go in between bits of stubble and things that a round one won't do. So I think it's a better buy to buy the SP24 because of the oval shape as opposed to the SP22, which is the round shape. Now, if you are never, ever, ever any place where you are going to need to get in between things and nooks and crannies and need really good separation, then perhaps the DTEC Ultimate is a better choice for you for your first coil. I have not experienced it being any deeper than the SP28 or the SP24 or 22. I think they're all about the same depth. The advantage to it is it covers more ground on your swing. It's a big coil. It has the same depth and it covers more ground. So if you need a lot of ground coverage, you don't need to get in nooks and crannies, then consider the DTEC Ultimate 13. It works better than the SP28. It just does. It works better than the stock coil. If you need separation, if you need to get in corners and nooks and crannies, you know, I think the SP24 is absolutely the way you want to go. I think that is the first coil purchase, and that is the first one I bought. I am so pleased with it, and I generally use it almost all of the time. So that is question 1. Can you see the state of it behind me? It's a whiteout. It is truly blizzarding. My poor little dog, who's out for a walk with me, is clarted in big lumps of snow stuck on her little legs, poor thing. Okay, the second question I get asked is, sorry, I'm needing to look down because I'm going down a hill and I don't want to follow my face on the video. The second question I get asked is, should I buy a Vanquish, a Simplex, or something else? What's the best detector for me? Well, I can't answer that. I'm not you. I love my Simplex. I think it's a fantastic machine. But the Vanquish is also a fantastic machine. I am not going to bash Minelab. I am not going to bash their products. They are exceptional products. They have disadvantages, just like the Simplex has disadvantages. They have strong points, they have weak points. If you are someone who will only go out detecting once or twice a month on the weekend, when the weather's nice, you want to pick up and go with a machine, you just want it to work, you want to get out there, you want to find stuff immediately, then the Vanquish is your machine. It is turn on and go. It really is. If you want a machine that is going to serve you longer, I believe, in my opinion, and you will study the machine and you will learn to speak the machine's language, and you are going to be out in weather like this, you are going to be on the beach, you are going to be in the wet, then you really need to consider a Simplex, because even though it has a rainproof cover, the Vanquish is not waterproof. So if you are going to be in serious weather conditions, you need to think about that, because it's a lot of money for it to get killed, dead, died. If you don't have so much money, because with the Vanquish you kind of do need to, I think I wouldn't be happy with the lower ranges. I think I'd want something a bit further up the range, and they are more expensive than the Simplex. If money is an issue, and the Simplex is just not for you, because it does take learning, it does take time invested, it doesn't really work as a turn on and go machine. It can do, but it really pays off when you learn it. If your budget isn't there for a Minelab and the Simplex isn't the right machine for you, a friend of mine's got a Quest 40. I've seen some videos on the newer Quests, and I don't think you'd go wrong there. That looks like a pretty good machine. It's not multi-IQ like the Vanquish. It's not completely waterproof like the Simplex, but for an entry-level machine, the price point's really good for the features you get. So that's the sort of 3 I would think about. There are people that the Vanquish is the perfect machine for. There are people that the Simplex is a perfect machine for. And there are people that one of the Quests will be a perfect machine for. So have a think about how you detect, what you want to do with it, and then make your choice. Because there is no right answer. There's only a right machine for you. So, question number 3 in our series of questions. I was going to say trio, but there may be more than 3. We don't know. So, we'll just have to see what I can think up as I'm walking around here, getting pelted on with the snow. You see the state of my coat? See the state of my dog? Yeah, anyway, question number 3 that we have. Do I need to ground balance? Yes, you do. When do I need to ground balance? Every time there is a change, or every 30 minutes. Is it important? I have done a whole video on ground balancing. Why it's important it's the short version is if you don't ground balance, you are expecting your machine to either work with a pair of headphones on, you know, big earmuffs, and you're in a pub trying to have a conversation that's just blocking out everything. So if your ground balance is wrong, either your machine's got a big, you know, set of big earmuffs on, or everything is just blasting and it can't actually hear what it wants to hear because there's too much noise. And you want it in between. You don't want it muffled and you don't want it being overwhelmed. You've got to find that sweet spot in between, and that is what ground balancing does. So I'm just keeping an eye on my dog. So, you know, it's hold the button down, pump it till it beeps 3 times. Beep, 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 good to go. Take a note of the number. Just kind of learn what the different numbers are in the areas that you're in. But every 30 minutes or so, or when the ground markedly changes. If you're in a bit, especially if you're on a beach, and you go from a bit where you've got completely dry sand to sort of damp sand, you want to change your ground balance because there's going to be more salt in that, more mineralization. You need to change that ground balance. But even out and about, you know, if you are on a field like this that's behind me, it's probably about the same most of the field. But if you go back up over there, see where the ground goes up, it gets really boggy up there. That's a different ground balance than down here. The ground is different. Check it. You know, learn it in the areas where you are. And then you'll kind of know when you need to change. But yes, you should ground balance. It is important. It's on the machine for a reason. If you have a Vanquish, don't worry about it. Your machine takes care of all of that for you. But if you have something that has the ability to manually ground balance, then do it. It's there for a reason. Okay, next question, number 4. My Simplex will not be quiet. What do I do? It just chatters all the time. Turn your gain down. First of all, make sure you're ground balanced. That's important. Secondly, turn your sensitivity down. It doesn't need to be on 7. This is particularly if you are rocking a bigger coil or the stock coil, the one that comes with the machine. Turn the sensitivity down. You are not going to lose anything, because if it's making that much noise, you can't hear it when it finds a signal anyway. So by turning the sensitivity down, it will find the signals that you want it to find. If it's overwhelmed by noise, you're not going to hear the signal in amongst all of that anyway. It's just going to drive you mad. So turn your gain down, turn your sensitivity down. Just 1 or 2 bars, sometimes 3. If you got to go 4, turn it down 4. Make sure you've ground balanced. That's really important. Make sure you've got it on the right setting for where you are. But turn the sensitivity down. That will help with the chatter. Please do not be afraid to turn it down. Do not run it on 7 all the time. The machine is too good. That 7 level of sensitivity is there for a reason. And that reason is for the SP24 in specific situations. Sometimes the stock coil or a DTEC Ultimate 13 can use that level 7, depending on where you are, but it is not the standard. Yes, the machine comes on with it on that, but that is not meant to be the one that you use all the time. It's there for specific situations. So turn down your sensitivity, or it's called your gain. Turn down your gain a bit. That will help with the chatty. Oh, where's Ayla gone? She's up there. Let's go up here. Okay, can I think of a 5th question? Let's see. What can I think of? So we've covered, should I get the SP24 coil? We've covered, it chats all the time. We have covered, look, and now the sun's come out and Scotland's beautiful again. I love my country. So we've covered, what machine should I buy? We've covered, should I ground balance? Okay, I think that'll do us for this video. If you've got questions you want me to do a short clip on, let me know. I can certainly do these, no problem at all. Gonna need the snow to melt most likely before I get out detecting again. Plus, hubby's just starting a new job. Barbers are now back in Scotland, so hubby is back in the workplace. We're sharing a car at the moment, but that's not gonna stop me from getting out and detecting. I just kind of would prefer the snow goes a bit, because it can be really, really cold if you're out in a blizzard and, you know, in the middle of a field. Plus, I went along to my big permission recently, last week, because I was going to do a detecting video, and they have rolled every single field and seeded them all. Every single one, right up to the borders. All those deep plowed fields, the CHATTY field, all of them, every single one of them is rolled and seeded, and they were spraying slurry on them when we were there last, so they are all out. I do have other permissions I can go to, and I will be, but I need to sort out when I'm going to go and how I'm going to get there, and then you'll have another detecting video. But in the meantime, send me your questions. I'll do some short clips on them, and we'll see what we can do to help you to get the best out of your machine. Take care!